It's really loud. I realized starting these network power hours, I never did an introduction before. So I was like, oh, maybe I should have people get to know who I am. So I just wanted to tell you a little bit about my particular power hours, how they flow, how I work, that kind of stuff, because I think it's really important when you hop on these power hours, you're able to really, what's the word, connect with the sponsor of it or the host of it. So a lot of different hosts go into these power hours every single week. Some you're going to jive with, some you aren't. My power hours are very fast paced. They're very action packed. We work the whole entire time. I don't like a lot of dead space and silence. To me, my brain is like a squirrel. So if it's silent for too long, I get really anxious. And my whole entire goal is to help you guys take ownership, learn more about this business and how to approach it as an independent business owner, and just really take control of the goals that you set for yourself. So you're going to learn a lot. There's a tracker with every single power hour that I do. My goal is to capture people who are visual learners, audio, all the physical, all the different ways that people learn. I try and get as much of that in as I can, just because I think we all learn in different ways. So having something physical, being able to listen, being able to watch is really important to me. So we always have a tracker. I am very high level oriented, meaning if today was your first day as a coach, I'm going to talk to you like you're a 2-star diamond coach. And if you're a 2-star diamond, I'm going to talk to you as if you've got 100 more steps to go. I think it's important to always level up. And I think it's really important to show mutual respect. So regardless of how long someone's been coaching or the accolades that they have behind their name, like, to me, at the end of the day, we're all here doing the same exact thing. And we're all just trying to get there together. So hopefully that will shine through in my power hours. I am highly independent. I'm very transparent. So I'm just excited this year to kind of kick this off in a different way. If you were on my power hours last year, I had Saturday morning power hours. So Thursday nights are kind of like a big thing, because this is the first day of our work week as coaches. And I really want to set our weeks off right. And what I love more than anything is being able to build something together. So the more you're on my power hours, the more you'll start to notice how much they all work together. And if you're consistent with them and you show up, you will progress independently, and you'll grow and you'll develop. And it's just a cool thing to be able to do. So I really like to move together and take groups and build something together. My team's motto this year is big energy. That's what we're focused on. And I just wanted to I want you to maybe think about what that means for you. Like, what does bringing big energy into your business look like? Because it was really important for me to sit down and say, okay, big energy is not chaotic. It's not unorganized. It's not unsustainable, fake, excitement. That's not what big energy is, right? Big energy is something that can be sustained. It's something that brings focus. It's calm, right? It's passionate. It's persistent. That's what big energy means for us. And that's what we're trying to bring into our business this year, without the burnout, but just with really consistent, persistent energy in our business and focus on what we're here to do. So that's our motto. I wanted to maybe just share this really quick for those of you that are just hopping on right on time, because I know I started a little bit early. Tonight specifically, I want to help you take some ownership of your business. I want to help you lead with your passion, which I think is your superpower, and understand the invite flow. So I am huge on a 3-part invite process. My team's really aware of this. So if you've been on my power hours, you probably know as well, but I think it takes networking, connecting, and inviting. Those three things to really bring on a challenger or bring on a coach. There's a 3-step process to really bringing people on board. So you guys will learn that a little bit more in depth as we go throughout the year in my power hours. And then we're just going to get to work. So a goal of mine this year, just so I can throw this out there for my power hours, is financial transformation and financial growth. If at the end of the year, you guys can say to me, Jace, I grew my business X% over last year, income wise, and there's an increase in that number, regardless of what it is, that's when I'm like, yay, we did it. So I just want you guys to understand one thing really, that's really important, which is most of the coaches who are leading these, who are your sponsors, they're always going to lead with the business and best practices, always, because they're trying to help you achieve your goals financially. Challengers and the Beachbody and the physical transformation side is for what? Physical transformation, right? Like that's what we do. But when you sign up to become a coach, the purpose becomes financial transformation. It becomes helping other people and really building something for yourself. So for me, the financial transformation is important because I think you could help people for free if you wanted to, just like this. You don't have to become a coach in order to recommend our product, to start little communities or support groups, right? Like becoming a coach, there's more to it than just helping people for free. So my goal this year is that big financial transformation and just helping you guys building something together. So I'm going to share our tracker for tonight. I do upload these in the chat at the end in case your sponsors didn't upload it for you. Some of them do, some of them don't. You never know. So I always post it at the end. So don't stress if you don't have it, just get out a piece of paper and that works too. Okay. We're going to go through this step by step. And I'm hoping that this will be a valuable power hour to kick off your year. So I'm going to open the chat so I can see if you guys have questions, and then we're going to get going. So first and foremost, this particular power hour, the first little half of it is going to be some mindset work and some deep dive. So I want you to, again, get out a piece of paper, or you can use the chat if you want. Meredith said, my Instagram is @CoachJace. And I should be returning to Instagram on Monday. I took the first couple weeks of the year off, which has been real nice. It's been a real nice treat. Okay. So here's a couple mental notes as we go through this. And these are the notes that I decided to share with you tonight intentionally to kick off your year, because if you've been coaching, maybe write in the chat how long you've been a coach. That would be helpful, because some people are new, some people are more veteran, some people have been around for a long time. If you could just post how long you've been doing it. 7.5 years. That's a long time. I didn't realize that. Okay, so it looks like most people have been in for at least a year. One. Awesome. Cool. Okay, so you guys aren't all brand new. You guys are established, good to go coaches. So this will be good. So if you've set goals in the past that have not yet come to fruition, these specific things are probably going to help you. And I'm hoping this mindset work that we're going to do in the next couple of minutes is really going to help push you forward this year in a real lasting way. So here are my mental notes for this call. One, we feel salesy. This is really important. We feel salesy when our actions are being driven externally over internally. And what that means is when we're doing something because someone else told us to, or someone else wants us to, over what we feel internally, that's when things get skewed. So this is a really important aspect of this first part of this call, because I'm going to ask you a question around this specific internal versus external topic. Okay. But when people start to say, this feels salesy to me, Jace, like, I don't want to coach anymore. Raise your hand if any of you have ever heard someone say that, or if you've ever felt that before and had to like redirect yourself. Okay. This is like one of the number one most toxic narratives out there. And I'm telling you right now, if your priorities get off track and you're starting to feel salesy, that's on you to fix. That's not your sponsor's problem. That's not your team's problem. That's not the business plan's problem. That's your problem. You allowed that. So the number one thing to always remember and reground yourself in is, by default, what we do as coaches helps people who use it. By default, like helping people should never really be a question. That shouldn't ever be something like, oh my gosh, am I really helping people? Because one, we can't do the work for people, right? But if we're helping people by opening the door, by sending the invites, by showing and paving a path, it's helping the people who actually take that and use it, right? And that's something you can always find confidence in. So if it ever starts to feel salesy, if it ever starts to feel too much, internalize, like reclaim sort of that power of why you're here. Remember what your passion is, remember why you're here. And hopefully this little exercise will help you kind of put a definition behind some of the business building activities that maybe you haven't thought through so fully yet. Okay. And then the last tip, and this is one that I have contemplated a lot. And this is my number one thing I'm looking for when I'm looking for coaches this year to work under me. This quality is what I'm looking for. I want coaches who want to do this more than they need to do this. That's so important. If you think about that, I want to work with people who want this, not just need it. Because if you think about it, how much harder do we work for what we want? And how many times do we abandon what we need, right? Because it's easier. Think about it. Like that one thing, if you can just identify that one quality, even looking in your downline right now, looking at your challengers right now, those that want it are the ones out front. They're the ones you don't have to coach, just support. Right? So if you lead with that when you're inviting, and you highlight sort of that quality, and you start highlighting some of the qualities and personality traits of the people that you're looking for in your invites, that's when you're really going to attract those kind of people, right? Okay, so here are the energy points for tonight. Here's the thing about creating big energy in your business. I think it takes three things: focus, passion, purpose. And a lot of times one of those things is missing if that energy is gone, right? You've either lost focus, you've lost passion, or you've lost purpose. It's so simple, right? But it's so complex at the same time. So the first thing that I want to do tonight, I'm going to give you guys 5 minutes, is I want you to take 5 minutes and just brain dump. And this should be really a simple thing to brain dump. It should come to your mind really quick, and you can write it in the chat if you want. But I want you to answer this question. What part of this process, the process of our business, what part of Beachbody, what part of this process do you love the most? The most. And I want you to write it down. Okay, I'm going to give us a couple minutes, and you can write it in the chat if you finish and if you feel inspired to do so. I'm just going to read some of these because I think it's so good. See, and isn't it so nice when it's just so simple? You guys, what you write here, your passion is your superpower. This is the thing that you should wrap your niche around, that you should wrap your content around, that you should talk about as much as possible, because it's never not going to be something that you don't feel. You're always going to feel this. And this, if you can lead with your passion, right? You can take your power back in this business again and again and again. This particular thing, your passion that you just wrote down, is your superpower, your niche, and your joy in this business all in one. That's it. So if you've been like, I don't know how to niche down, I don't know how to target, I don't know how to, like single in my content, this is it. Single it in around this. Set your goals around this. Create your systems around this. And you will want to show up for it again and again and again, right? The hard part, you guys, is not allowing this passion that you have to get lost in all the other things that we have to do, right? So that's really what I want to help connect, is your passion and all these other things we have to do, and make it all lead and funnel to the same thing, which is the end destination to your vision, like your big vision. So some of the things, I just wanted to read a couple of these. Seeing women regain their confidence. One person said, seeing women happy again, which I love. When someone messages me telling me their life has changed, that's a huge one for me. Our theme on our team's been lives changed forever, multiple times. Inspiring others to want to change. Celebrating texts from customers when they get results, scale or non-scale. I love that. I love talking to people about food and fitness. I think, you guys, if every invite you make has an end goal of getting this, right? Like every single invite, if every invite led to someone acting on the hope that they can change, that's what it was for me for a really long time. It was just the hope that somebody can change. That's what I wanted to give to people, because that's the gift that Beachbody gave to me, right? I didn't start coaching to make it my career. I didn't. I wasn't somebody that was like, I'm going to do this forever. Coaching was a mean to an end. Coaching is still a mean to an end for me. It's something that I wanted to keep what Beachbody was giving me in my life. I wanted to keep that going. And that's what inspired me really to kind of build an empire around it. That's what really inspired me to keep it going, right? And to make sure this thing that was so good for me wasn't going to go away. And I knew the more people that I brought into this circle that I knew I was responsible to, the less likely it was going to be for me to quit. And that's what pushed me out of my fear, out of my comfort zone with inviting, because it wasn't about me. If I was afraid to invite, I was making it about me. And that was my tell, right? So when you can kind of look at your passion and you can understand how much power is behind it, right? Anytime a fear comes up for you and you can say to yourself, yeah, but that's not why I'm here. This is why I'm here. And you can reiterate that passion, you'll reclaim your power again with your business, right? Because there's so many things. And these are the 3 topics we're going to talk about tonight: sponsorship, success club, and income. And I'm going to help you identify who's been leading that for you in your business so far and how to take it back. Okay. So here's what we're going to start with, is sponsorship. Here's where my uber transparency comes from, right? I don't like to beat around the bush. I just say how it is. And again, the saving grace is always what? By default, what we do helps people. So no matter what I'm doing, I know every single thing that I train, every single action step that I take is moving towards that, whether I want it to or not, right? Whether I care about that or not. That's the coolest part about our business. So sponsorship, there are two different ways to sponsor. There's two different reasons to sponsor when you're talking about sponsoring coaches or sponsoring preferred customers, right? When you're actually applying it to your business, because placement is important. So sponsorship, there are coaches or preferred customers now, is what they are called now instead of discount coaches. They're really placeholders, right? In your organization. They're the ones that build your foundation. They're your stability. They're the consistency. They're the ones that are invested in themselves. And that in itself creates a strong foundation of other people investing in themselves and beyond. Okay. So you have your preferred customers, and then you have your volume builders, your active working coaches, the coaches who are now receiving, they're becoming business owners, right? So the perks in being a preferred customer is what? The discount. It's good for them. And that's how that works for them. It's good for you because it helps you solidify your organization. With coaches and active working coaches, it's a beautiful relationship because you've now given someone the opportunity to what? Financially transform and run a business for themselves. And you've also created more volume in your organization, which helps the financial transformation of everyone, not just you, right? So again, everything is connected to itself. So what I want you to identify really quick with sponsorship, what your pain points and what your passion points are. So I'm going to give you 5 minutes to write this down. And I want you to identify, what do I love about this process? And where am I really resisting? What am I resisting? Okay, so take a couple minutes and write that down. And you can post it again in the chat when you're done if you want. So I like reading the feedback. Okay, these are so good. Love the opportunity to grow together. Love getting someone over the edge with the little push they need. Love the connections. Resisting talking about the coaching opportunity because of my lack of results. Also not knowing how to share my vision. Resisting is disappointing people that matter to me not being enough. A lot of people said fear of rejection. Jenna said pain, feeling qualified for the job. Passion, helping people have freedom to work for their own home. So these are so good. So the very first thing to really understand with sponsorship, especially if you're struggling to bring on working coaches, or how many of you struggle to bring on working coaches? Raise your hand. Okay. What's really important is to understand if sponsorship is something that you're doing because you're internally driven to do it, or because you're externally driven to do it. So I want you to think about that, and I want you to write that in the chat. If you are externally driven to sponsor, you're doing it because your coach told you to get to diamond, or you think that's the only way to be successful, or you're basing your value in a rank. Sponsorship is difficult when you're fearing rejection. I'm going to give you a couple of ways to take it from like being an external driver to being an internal one, because the internal drivers are really what's going to get you moving. Like that's what's actually going to move your needle forward. Until these business aspects are internal instead of external, they're just going to keep being all over the place, and it's going to be hard to really bring them all together. So internally, if you are not afraid to sponsor and you're like gung-ho and awesome with it, it doesn't mean there's no room for improvement. It just means you understand it. You understand your why specifically behind it. You understand why you are sponsoring people and where they're going and why. That's so important. Like outside of what the network's telling you to do, or what your sponsor's telling you to do, or any of that. For me, this is directly related to my passion. I sponsor people because I want to spread hope to them that change is possible. I sponsor people regardless if they're a coach or a challenger or whatever. Like, I don't care. I sponsor people because I'm passionate about propelling people forward. And I'm passionate about teaching them that that's possible as long as they can get moving and keep moving through life. That's where my passion lies. So everything that all of my sponsoring drives my ability and opportunity to share that. Does that make sense? So it's so important. And it's just that simple to internalize sponsorship, right? Letting go, however, of the external things is really hard, especially when that's what's been driving you the whole time. Perfectionists have a really hard time with this. Most of the time, people pleasers, perfectionists, they are very externally driven. And it's really hard to kind of bring that back. So here's a couple of suggestions. The rejection thing, if that is a fear of yours and it's actually holding you back, the number one thing you can do to take that back and take that power back within is to ask yourself this one question: why do I fear rejection? Until you can really answer that question, that fear is going to control you and your success and your business. It's going to be hard to propel yourself forward because you're not moving forward through it, right? You're just stewing on it and hoping that it will get better. But until you really address it, it won't change. So to take that power back, you have to really do the personal development that works, right? The second thing I think is another really important one: misunderstanding my intention, right? I don't want to feel salesy. I don't want people to think I'm salesy. That's where this comes from, the intention question. And there's one thing that I just really want you to understand, to bring that back internally and kind of claim that back, is this one statement: I know my intention. I know it. And that's all that matters, right? If someone misunderstands your intention, so what? Redirect it. I'm sorry, I think you have the wrong idea. My intention is this, right? Like, you can always bring it back. As long as you feel good about your intention, you'll have no issues. It's when you don't feel good about your intentions. And that's generally speaking when your intentions are external instead of internal, right? Your intention is to advance in rank, to earn income, to hit Success Club, right? Instead of, my intention here is to help you. That's where that goes from being an external to an internal driver, right? I'm telling you guys, I'm telling you, we all have external and internal drivers, but it's the internal ones that are going to keep you focused, bring you passion, bring you purpose, and that big energy that you need to get to your final destination, to get you to those big goals. Okay, so let's go on to the next thing. Okay, Success Club. Success Club is a huge aspect in our business. We're talking about this and focusing on this and Emerald almost entirely in my organization this year. Just again and again and again, repetitive action around Success Club and Emerald. And while recognition and points and income are attached to all three of these things, right? Sponsorship, Success Club, rank, income, all those things. It's the coaches who master these practices in their businesses because they don't associate these things only with recognition, income, and points. They have a deeper drive. They have a deeper driver behind these things. Success Club, especially. Raise your hand if you have a really solid, healthy relationship with Success Club. I don't even see one hand. That's really scary. You guys, we have to fix this. Okay. Success Club, can I tell you guys a little secret? There's two major things in our business that are really yours to claim. And one of them is Success Club, and the other one is Diamond. Those two things you can drive again and again and again. Can you drive Star Diamond? Who's Diamond in this group? Randy is, but she hopped off. She's probably hugging her little Sawyer. Okay, so any of you guys that have reached Diamond, you know that any rank beyond that is no longer yours. Someone else has to go Diamond in order for you to move forward at that point. Leadership has to come in, duplication has to come. Someone else has to succeed in order for you to go anywhere beyond that, right? So any rank beyond Diamond is no longer yours to claim. That's a bunch of other people that were inspired to claim it for themselves. And that's why Beachbody is a team effort. That's awesome. But it's also really hard. So everybody that's like, oh my gosh, Diamond is so hard. No, it's not. Comparatively, you guys, it's easy peasy. That's the easy one. Like, you got to really understand when it comes to Success Club, it's kind of the same thing. Success Club, yes, again, it brings points, recognition, and income. However, if that's all it means to you, you are completely driven externally in this specific aspect of our business. And it's never going to get there. It's never going to become a major success point in your business until you internalize it, until you define it for yourself. What does Success Club mean to you? What does it mean for you personally to sell a challenge pack instead of just a BOD membership or instead of just Shakeology? Why both? How does that get you to your end result, to your opportunity to share your passion? Let me tell you, for mine, which is propelling people forward, getting them moving and keeping them in motion, right? To bringing hope that they can change. That's only possible when you're committed to what can change you. When you are talking about physical transformation, it's a real simple recipe. There's one recipe for permanent health management. And what is it? Daily exercise, daily nutrition, daily mindset work. That's it. Whatever you want to put into those categories is great. That's the tool that you're using, but that's the recipe, right? So as a full solution coach, as a coach who says, you know what? I'm not gonna be a half-ass coach. Yeah, you may just want to do exercise, but it's not going to get you where you want to go until you're doing both. To me, Success Club is a silent agreement between a coach who's 100% in on the real, full, only permanent solution to get you where you want to go, period. And it's the only challenger that's committed 100%. This transaction of a challenge pack, getting into Success Club with as many people as you can, right? Because you can't get into it without your challengers, is a silent agreement between coach and challenger that you are both in 100%. That's what Success Club means to me. Success Club is the proof that I'm helping people transform their lives, not just wanting to or hoping to or wishing to or working to, but that's the actual proof that it's working. For me, yes, the points equal consistency, right? If I'm not getting points, it means I'm not being consistent. And that's also a trigger for me. Okay, I know if I'm not hitting Success Club, I'm not in the right headspace. I'm not helping people the way I committed to helping people. And that's a check I need to fix, right? Again, it's about high level coaching. You guys you're just better than that. You're on this call for a reason, right? Like, be a full solution coach. Don't let people half-ass it. Don't enable people to keep doing the same things they've always been doing. I want you to write down your pain points and your passion points with Success Club. Put them in the chat. Why haven't you mastered this? Why don't you have a healthy relationship with this hugely business building aspect, transformation building aspect? What is it that's holding you back from mastering this? And are those things that are holding you back external or are they internal? I legit thought that Success Club was for my coach, 100%. I'm like, oh, he benefits from me getting points. The more you're in that mindset of who else is benefiting from me, that is the worst mindset you can work from, because it doesn't matter, right? Aren't you here to help people? You can't be pick and choose in what way, right? Like when it comes to coaching in your business, Success Club is for you 100%. And your sponsors are saying, trust me, just do it. You've got to experience what Success Club can do for you. And in order to experience it and gain a testimony of it, you have to do it. So even if, like me, you take that blind leap of faith and say, even though I don't understand this, I'm going to do it so that I can understand this. That's really the practice, right? Every single aspect of our business is a learning tool, just like with our physical journeys every single day. Like, how much do we learn there? So much, right? Let's see. Pain points: not enough discipline to do the activities every day for at least an hour, limiting beliefs about not being a good leader. Okay, let me tell you something. How many hours do you think it takes to hit Success Club? Nobody knows. But I do know it only takes 3 people. Right? Focus on the people. Your hours worked are going to be all over the place. I was a brand new mom. I worked from the toilet when my 2-year-old would finally leave me alone, right? Like, I would be sitting there and I'm like, okay, what can I do? Like, I want you to get out of this idea that your work ethic has to look a certain way in order for you to be successful. What your work ethic needs to look like is focused, passionate, and purposeful. Okay, so regardless of how many hours or minutes you work every day, if those minutes are qualified by your focus, your passion, and your purpose, right? Like what you're here to do and who you're here to find. And that's what your time and energy is spent on. That big energy that you're putting into this business is going into simply looking for people who you can share your passion with. Not your challenge group, not your challenge pack, not your product, but your passion. It will change the way that you work. I guarantee you'll want to plug in a lot more. Okay. The Success Club and talking about the products and talking about all of that stuff is naturally going to happen. And naturally, you're going to have a lot more opportunity if you spend as much time as you can, right? Focused on your passion and your purpose here. And less on the external things, but on the internal things that you really want to accomplish. Set a goal with Success Club. Identify and define it for yourself. I'm going to give you 2 minutes to do that, of silence with slight music in the background. Okay. And then we're going to move on. Okay, so your question for this is, with Success Club, what does it mean to you? Like, what does it mean to you to sell a challenge pack? Why is that important? Why is that more important than selling just a membership or just the nutrition? Because let me tell you, there's a lot of coaches that are like, it's just as good to sell a membership. In fact, this year, a huge driver in my team is just getting more memberships, BOD and body memberships. We're not even really focusing so much on the challenge pack, but more memberships lead to more challenge packs. They lead to more people reaching that point of nutrition as well. And if I can get my team focused on memberships, right? Naturally, the conversation of nutrition is going to come into play. And guess how many more challenge packs they're going to sell naturally, because they're thinking about getting people moving instead of their points. It's super important to understand what motivates you. And if you're not motivated by one of the main business building activities, you have got to internalize it, meaning you've got to reach a place with it. You've got to study the concept. You've got to brainstorm it out until you can define it for yourself of what it means to you when you push for it, when you work for it. What does it mean for you to hit Success Club? Not what does it mean for the company, or what does it mean for your team, or what does it mean for your the perception people have of your success, right? This is a big thing for people. How am I being perceived by someone else? Right? People who get into the mindset of, I'm not successful enough. I don't have results enough yet. I'm not enough yet. How can I inspire somebody to make money when I don't make money? Right? Like, these are all externally driven. You're focusing more on how someone else might perceive you than you are with how you're perceiving yourself. It's important. Like, this is the kind of personal development work, you guys, that really pushes you forward. And that's such a huge coach activity. But if we're just focused on leadership and business building and network marketing and inviting, like some of these things that are actually holding us back, that aren't getting any attention or work, that would actually propel us forward, get missed. And that's why you go 7 years never reaching Success Club All-Star or Legend, never finding consistency in it, never hitting diamond when you could have. If it's been longer than 90 days and you've been like mentally all in with coaching, something else is going on. You are missing something that you haven't worked on yet. And it's probably not a business building activity. And it's probably not how consistent you've been or not. That's also, I think, a false misconception, right? Consistency is key, but it's not everything. It's a big part of it, but consistency can't happen unless all the ducks are in a row. Your consistency is not just magically going to happen if there's still blockades in the way, you know? Okay, so income, this one's quick, but I want to talk about this because I think it's really important. What is it good for? What is income good for? People have very complicated relationships with money, very complicated. And you have to understand that as a sponsor, as a leader, you have to understand that relationship you have with it yourself, right? Like I have a fairly healthy relationship with money. I like making it. I like teaching people how to make it. I think it can do a lot of good. But that was something that I had to learn. You know, I feared success more than I feared failure. And when I started making significant income with coaching, it was hard for me. It was like, oh my gosh, like, am I taking advantage of people? Am I really helping people? Right? Like all these things started to flood in. And my husband gave me real simple perspective in one really short sentence, which was the more you have, the more you can give. And that spoke to my passion. That spoke to my purpose. That spoke to who I was. And so I was easily able to then internalize that and drive that in my business. I no longer feared the income. I embraced it. I chased it. I challenged it. You know, I set goals with it. I made it something fun and exciting. So what is it good for? I want you to just quickly write down maybe some of your pain points with it and some of your passion points. What are you passionate about when it comes to income? What are some of your pain points? I was 6 figures in debt and on food stamps when I started coaching. So from most people's perspective, they might think that that was a pain point for me. But actually, it was really more a passion point for me. I didn't want to live like that. And I knew I didn't have to. And coaching gave me a way to take control of it. So as long as I was doing something about it, right? Like it was a good thing. And that's really what pulled me out of that hole. Stability and independence. I think that's really good. I think that's what it brings to most people, right? I think this is an important aspect because, again, Beachbody is a full solution company. They hit a lot of the big things that make people unhappy and unfulfilled. Their health, their finances, their relationships with themselves, like their self-worth, right? Like it takes some of these big things and it helps correct the course. It helps put you on a positive direction with those things. And so I think really understanding like that income is a big part of this, and that's okay. And that's actually a cool part of this. It's kind of a fun experience. It's cool to build something from nothing. It's cool to be able to see your coaches take control and like be able to do something about their situation when normally they couldn't, or they had no opportunity or avenue to do that before. Yeah, I don't want to see my kids struggle. Growing up, I didn't have everything and I wanted them to be set for life later. I think that's so important. Like you have to really understand why the income is important and what is it good for. I think a big part for me when I very first started coaching, even something so simple like being able to send my coaches or my challengers like little gifts, like notes or thank yous. I had no money to do that. So I wanted to reach a point where I could, right? And that was a big driving goal for me. But I think these three aspects of our business, the sponsorship, the success club, the income, those are the three big ones, but they're also the three that come up the most when it comes to people feeling like they're not in control, they're failing, right? Like, you guys just have to remember this is something that we want to do. Even if we need to do it, it's still something that we want to do, or you wouldn't be on the call tonight, right? Like, you're here because you want to be here. And that's what makes you so amazing. That's awesome. Okay. So, what I wanted to do really quick, I wanted to do a little post party. So I'm going to take 1 minute and just do this last exercise. And I just want you to write down your biggest takeaway from talking through some of these points so far. Scan through your notes, write down your biggest takeaway, and then I want you to create an action step for that. I want you to take an action step to take what you just learned and really apply it into your mindset, into your actions, into your business. Like, how are you going to move forward now with this information? Okay, so I'm going to give you a minute to do that. Okay, so for the last 10 minutes, we're gonna take some action and do some business stuff. So my power hours generally aren't so mindset focused. I just wanted to do that for this first kickoff. They're usually very action and detail oriented. So what I wanted to do is just do a little post party. I want to make sure that when you guys are posting on social media, that you're capitalizing on it the way that's going to bring you the best results. So a lot of people just post and run. They like post and they're like, oh, I posted today. And that was like, I get to check off that as my assignment, right? But there's a lot more that goes into it. And again, my specialty is teaching about how to network, connect, and invite in that order and in that order. So a lot of my power hours are either a networking power hour or a connection power hour or an invite power hour. And we go through really specific activities and we work the whole entire time together through them. So what I wanted to do is just teach you how to post properly. And we're going to focus on Instagram for a second. And what I want you to do is just go down this list and check off each of these exercises in the next 10 minutes as you can. Okay, so you make a post, then you share it to your stories, then you add hashtags to it. You message people that liked it or tag them in your comments below. Hey, thanks for liking my content. Super easy. You can respond to any comments that come up for the post that you make. You can go into your little house icon and like the first 25 photos in your feed. And you can make comments, but keep Instagram open for at least 5 minutes. This is going to maximize the algorithm for your content that you just posted. If you're not doing these follow-up activities, you're going to get very little engagement. And what's the point of engagement? Engagement is networking, right? And the point of that is to give you more opportunity for connection. Because once you connect with people, then and only then are you able to really effectively invite them. Okay, so I'm going to give us 10 minutes and I want you guys to get through as many of those activities as you can. And at the end, at 8 o'clock, I'm going to cut it off and see how many you got through and how long it took you. Okay, the post will probably take the longest. So let's work on that for a minute. Okay. It's 8:00. So, hopefully you guys had some good takeaways. I know these brainstorming sessions aren't always like, oh my gosh, I got so much done. But let me tell you how many times somebody goes from being a coach for 7 years and never really making any headway to overnight figuring it out because of a mindset shift, because of learning a different language to talk to themselves with. Like, this stuff you don't think is as impactful as it is, but it's hugely effective. Mindset is everything. The more you guys say to yourself, I'm not consistent, I'm struggling, I'm never going to hit this, I'm not good enough to coach, I'm not this and this and this, like, that is what's manifesting already. That's what's brought you to the point you're at. Like, whatever you've been able to do 100% is because of what you've manifested so far, good, bad, or ugly, right? So it's not about being perfectly consistent or perfectly worthy or perfectly enough. Like, you have to just let a lot of that go. With Beachbody, the coolest part, you guys, is the journey in building it. Because let me tell you, when you hit those big goals, guess what? You don't feel any different because you still have somewhere else to go, right? Like, the happiness comes when you really learn to love the process of pushing through and continually propelling yourself forward in life. As Tony Robbins would say, progress equals happiness. Progress equals happiness. Think about it, right? Like, that was something that took me a really long time to even understand. But I think the more you look at coaching as like this thing in your life that could potentially bring you so much, instead of this thing in your life that's so hard, is so helpful. As long as you keep that perspective, and the more you guys really embrace what your Beachbody vision looks like, and you stay true to that. And I don't mean like what specifically the people in your organization look like. I'm not talking about like you're all wearing matching t-shirts and you're all on the beach somewhere, like sticking your booties out. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like the very simple vision that you have for this business when you first became a coach. My ultimate vision, and who I ultimately was trying to become, is what drove me and drives me to this day. Who you ultimately are trying to become is way more impactful than anything you could ever accomplish, right? On paper. So really think about that. If I want to be a 15-star diamond coach, what do I need to do to deserve that? What kind of activities, mindsets, work ethic does a 15-star diamond coach have? What qualities do they have? That's really what you want to work towards. If I want to be consistent in Success Club, what qualities do I need to adopt? What practices do I need to practice? What do I need to prioritize? And what do I need to eliminate in order to accomplish this goal? So whatever your goal is for 2022, I encourage you to write it down and then ask yourself, who do I need to become in order to achieve or deserve this goal? And I'm telling you, if you focus on the process of becoming the person that can accomplish the goal like that, like if I want to be top coach, I need to become the kind of person that could reach that kind of goal, right? And that's what your daily focus is on, is becoming that person. I'm telling you guys, like, the magic is in that process, and the reward is just a perk along the way, right? I want you guys to know that even when I first started as a coach, I wrote my name. So my Instagram handle is @CoachJace. I've always gone by Coach Jace since I started. Even when there was a huge drive in the network to not have coach anywhere associated with your name. It's not like that anymore. But for a while there it was. And I never dropped it, because when I see that, that's who I become. When I started coaching, I was not the person that I wanted to be. I wasn't. I wanted to run away as fast as I could from that person. I wanted to transform my life. And that name and that symbol and that visual has been a title that I have wanted to earn, that I've pushed to earn day after day after day with coaching. There's never a point, you guys, that you reach, and I've been coaching for 11 years, okay, that you're like, I'm good. Like, I'm an awesome coach. And I hope that I never reach that point, because that means there's nowhere else to progress. Progress is really what we should all go for, because it's achievable. Tony Horton says, do your best, forget the rest. Take that mantra with you. When you're sitting down, when you're feeling defeated, do your best. It's going to be different every single day, every single season, every single year that you are a coach, every single moment. Sometimes you're super strong in the morning and you're a freaking mess by the time the day ends. That happens to me constantly. But at the end of the day, my vision is the same. It doesn't waver and it doesn't change. My passion is still my passion. It's still there. It's my job to remain focused on it, to remain passionate in it, and to remain and let that remain being my purpose at the end of every single day. Okay. So I hope you guys pop in a couple Thursdays. I hope that we can continue working together. If you don't have a really strong sponsor, if you don't feel like you have a lot of one-on-one coaching, these network power hours are key. Nothing can hold you back from making this business a success. Nothing except for you. There is nothing you don't have available to you at your fingertips. It's all here. So let go of any idea that you need anyone or anything else to make you successful other than your passion, your focus, or your purpose. Okay. I'll see you guys in a couple weeks. Take this with you through this week. I hope it helps you. I will post this PDF one more time. I do post my playbacks on my YouTube because I know some coaches don't share the links for them. So if you guys ever want any of my recordings, I post them publicly for you. And I will see you guys in a couple weeks.